The DPJ's first answer to the expectation to change has been the creation of the Government Revitalization Unit within the Cabinet Office. The Government Revitalization Unit was established in order to reform the overall national administration, including the budget and system of national administration from the people's standpoint, and also to review the division of role among the national government, local public authorities, and private companies. The first task was to reassess the budget request for fiscal 2010. It held budget screening hearings called Jigyo Shiwake to assess the need for around 450 public spending programs out of the total of some 3,000 for which the ministries and agencies of the... We conceived of this idea 7 years ago and have been working to have it implemented. We began a campaign of public budget screening hearings at the municipal level. Up to now, around 50 municipal and prefectural levels has been done, and then moved forward to the national level. We conducted the first hearings for the national budget with the then ruling LDP in August 2008, and also with DPJ in June 2009, when the party was still in the opposition. The original intent of this review was not to achieve spending cuts per se, but to bring about changes in public administration, whether at the prefectural, municipal, or national level, and also to achieve structural change to the system itself. The DPJ promised many new programs in its manifesto, including a child allowance, and it needed to find revenue sources to finance them. Hatoyama became Prime Minister in September, and the fiscal 2010 budget needed to be put together very quickly. There was not much time. That is why the administration decided to prioritize budget cuts before embarking on the task of making institutional reforms. The spending review process in full public views was held over 9 working days from November 11th to 27th, with 3 working groups handling the assessment. One feature of the process was that people outside the government would be tapped as reviewers. Things would be seen from the eyes of an outsider. In this regard, the budget assessors, who are called Shiwake Nin, including private sector analysts, businessmen, and even a farmer, who know the reality of each program. In addition to DPJ Diet members and the senior vice ministers and parliamentary secretaries of each ministry. The review took place in a school gymnasium where the senior bureaucrats from each ministry were seated on one side and the assessors seated on the other. The assessors asked questions and the officials responded to those questions within around an hour for each program. Another feature was that the process was completely open to the public. all the proceedings were broadcast live by the internet. This process generated great public interest. Nearly 20,000 people came to watch these proceedings in person, and an additional 340,000 people viewed them online each day in real time. Before this process began, I warned Prime Minister Hatoyama that once it starts, it will be like a sporting event where the results would be reported daily on television and the newspapers, much like a baseball game or a sumo match. And this is exactly what happened. It is a bit populist in this approach, but I believe that the discussions that took place were at a very high level. Nevertheless, we have only just exposed the issues that need to be tackled going forward. More than 90% of the conclusions of the review process were actually reflected in the budget for fiscal 2010. Future tasks include reviewing those government programs that were not evaluated this time and deepening the scope of debate to the systems underlying each program. According to a joint opinion poll conducted by the Sankei Shimbun, a conservative daily, and the Fuji News Network, a nationwide TV station, the Hatoyama Cabinet's approval rating was 68.7% right after the inauguration, then dropped to 60.9% in October. Unlike these three LDP predecessors, whose approval rating continued to drop. However, Hatoyama's approval rebounded slightly to 26.5% in November. During the review of government programs, it came close to 90% at one point. It no doubt helped boost Hatoyama's popularity. There have been some recent media polls indicating that the approval rating for the Hatoyama cabinet has dipped below 50%. The lowest so far has been 48% in the survey conducted by the Asahi Shimbun. The aforementioned Sankei Shimbun incidentally reported a support rate of 51%. One factor behind the decline has no doubt been the money scandals that have surfaced involving both Hatoyama and DPJ Secretary General Ichiro Ozawa, and then not very well organized cabinet management. The administration is only 3 months old, however, and it still remains to be seen whether it can leverage the momentum gained during the public spending review process to advance the political reforms that the public is seeking. The administration's ability to make good on its promises is being put to the test. I'd like to conclude my talk at this point with the observation that the success of Hatoyama administration will probably hinge not just on the personal competence of Mr. Hatoyama, but on the effectiveness of with which each member of the cabinet and the Prime Minister's office fulfill their functions. Thank you very much.